Hello. Recently, I've been thinking about when to jump back into cryptos. Here's a brief history. I've been in crypto since about 2017. I went through the 2018 crash, and that was a very painful crash. I saw a number of my assets 10x, and I didn't take any profit just to see them decline all the way to about 90%. So the crypto is a very volatile space. But I still thought it was a very good space. Like I still believe in blockchain technology. So after 2018, I've been telling everybody, hey, just dollar cost average into Bitcoin. And that's what I did. I dollar cost average into Bitcoin during that bear market. And I got myself up to one whole Bitcoin and around 32 Ethereum. I think around like 30 or 32 Ethereum. As soon as Bitcoin broke, so like 15, 16K, as soon as it was getting up to 20K, I sold. So I missed out on a huge amount of profit, seeing as where Bitcoin got to. Keep in mind, for Ethereum, for example, I was buying at 97, and then I saw it go up to like 600, and I'm thinking this is pretty good, so I'm taking some profits. And in hindsight, I really did not realize the amount of liquidity, the amount of mania that would pour into cryptos. So it's a bit of a sore spot because I could have made a lot of money, but I made a little bit of money. But I guess on the bright side is that I didn't lose money, which is the most important thing. Like I said, I believe in cryptos, and I think there will be another cycle. So the question in today's video is, when is the right time to get into cryptos? So recently listening to a podcast, and I'm going to link the podcast below, and it's here up on the screen. And it's a fantastic podcast. I love the guests, I love the topics, and it's really helpful, really valuable. And I of course bought the premium subscription, and I really recommend you do it as well because it to listen to. So there was very interesting topics that this gentleman from cross-border capitals raised. Firstly, he says that cryptos or digital currency is in some way the future, and you can actually see that with what China is trying to do with the digital yuan. I don't know if Bitcoin or Ethereum or etc. is the future, but digital currencies and block exchange is the future. He also said that international transfer is like XRP is way ahead of Swift. Now, I don't know what to think about XRP, but just the notion that you have this new technology competing with the old technology, which is Swift, and it's way more advanced. And one of the key points that he actually raised, not key points, but one comment he made is that I'm going to paraphrase here. I've timestamped it up there in the picture. But he said the defense ministry, procurement of the defense minister, is using Bitcoin to transfer large sums of money. So that to me it sounds crazy that actual people in the British government are using cryptocurrencies, are using Bitcoin. But this is really something else for me. It's really like that, damn, cryptos are really going somewhere. And yeah, I was getting a little bit of that FOMO after listening to this podcast. But I personally believe this is not the end of the downturn in cryptos and in the equity markets, mainly because, again, another brilliant point that is made up in this podcast. So Cross-Border Capitals released this on Twitter. During the podcast, they mentioned that tracking monetary inflation heads such as gold and cryptos versus global liquidity. As you can see in the chart below, as soon as global liquidity increases, i.e. interest rates go low, the central banks start printing money, what we saw in basically 2020, and then we saw that skyrocket to the moon. It's basically because of all of the excessive liquidity that is being pumped into the market. And given these speculative assets and these long dated assets like cryptos, they really do very, very well when there is excessive global liquidity, or when central banks are providing liquidity. And as we know right now, central banks are actually tightening. They're doing quantitative easing. Therefore, we can align this with the decline in the Bitcoin price. So the question at the start of this video was when to jump back into cryptos. Well, no one's ever going to know when the right moment is to jump in, but you want to have some kind of framework. And for me, that framework really is as when the Fed pivots. So when the Fed keeps tightening and something breaks, they're eventually going to have to pivot. Because if they don't pivot, the economy's trash, everything's trash, people are going to start rioting, politicians, etc. are going to get kicked out. Look what's happening in Sri Lanka. So at some point, they will have to pivot. They will have to do quantitative easing. So they will have to reduce interest rates, and they may as well, as they usually do, is print more money. So that's what we kind of want to front run. We want to get into Bitcoin cryptos when that is starting to peak. For me personally, what I'm doing is I'm just slowly dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and Ethereum, just a little bit every month. Like, this kind of keeps my little bit of FOMO in check. Like, maybe this really is, maybe it's just going to go sideways and this is accumulation phase. That's fine. I think it will go lower, but my plan is just to dollar cost average a little bit, and once it hits some key magic line on the chart, I think once it breaks, like if it hits 13k or if it hits 15k, I would be putting in a larger sum of money. So, well, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. If you agree, disagree, what you think about cryptos, and yeah, thank you.